Hey, buddy.
Hey, Kelly.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's Friday instead of Thursday.
It is Fabulous Friday.
Post Thanksgiving, first Friday of December Friday.
Woo! December, Christmas season, best time of year.
It warmed up a little bit.
Yeah, kind of gross, but not like super gross.
It's probably my favorite running temperature, whatever it is outside right now. If I had to guess, I'd say like 56.
No, it's higher. It's much
It is 66.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's colder than it is.
That'll happen.
You had a good week at work?
I mean, it's just getting into December now, into the holiday season. It's getting slower and slower, but so I'm just upping my activities and just trying to do what I can. But it's not too bad. How about yours?
I had a nice little work trip Wednesday, Thursday. Flew out to D.C. Wednesday afternoon, drove down to Quantico, or technically Stafford, which is like adjacent, the town of Quantico. Discovered a new beer that I texted you and Corey about. I've already forgotten the name of it. It's something white. Allagash. Allagash White. Never heard of it, but enjoyed it thoroughly.
I looked for it at the store yesterday.
Not so much.
Couldn't find it.
We'll find out if it's regional. It was good enough for me to go see if I can find it here somehow.
That's how I felt when I first tried eating them.
Yeah, cool.
And that was a regional thing, but has since expanded into our region. But I save it for fancy occasions. It's not an everyday drinker.
Yeah, that's a fun little part of being in the Army and just jumping around, doing training in all these different places.
Yeah.
That was how I encountered Yingling for the first time, and that's how I know a lot of people encounter Shiner Bach for the first time is going to Fort Hood, because everybody in the Army goes to Fort Hood at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was nice, and got in time to see the last 3 minutes of last night's game of the Bills Patriots, which I was listening to on the phone everywhere I could, as soon as I got off the plane. But not much of a game.
Josh Allen had one really cool jump pass
Synced it.
back across the body. That was pretty wild.
Did you see the side-by-side with that and how he did the exact same thing in that epic Kansas City-Buffalo game?
Did not. I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty cool. You feeling in the Christmas spirit yet?
Yeah. I mean, it's taken a little bit more effort than usual for me to get into it. I'm trying to push myself into it, but we're definitely getting there. I mean, the weather getting colder, it's nice. Got all the decorations up. The house is decked out right now. We have decked the fucking halls. And, yeah, I mean, it's fun to we go a little... I'm not going to say overboard with Christmas decorations, but we like the Christmas decorations. And I don't know if that's more me, or if it's more Jeremy, or if it's a combination of the both of us, but a long time ago, Jared and I have been living together forever, but quite a while ago we started decorating for Christmas, and it started out we just go to the dollar store and just get a bunch of dollar store decorations, and then the next year we go to the dollar store and get another round of them. So we ended up getting a lot of cheap Christmas decorations, and then both of our situations improved to where we could actually start getting stuff that wasn't just from the dollar store. And we've now got it up to where we have if you want to get super technical right now, we have 4 Christmas trees in the house.
Wait, I can think of 3. I can think of the 2 big ones and a small one. What's the 4th one?
This year, and I find it cuter than I probably should, but we have one live tree. We have a 9-foot live tree, and when it got here, when you set it up, sometimes you got to do some trimming on it and whatever. And there was this one bottom limb that was just hanging off, just real droopy and sad, and just was messing up the whole thing. So Jeremy cut it off, and then he held up, and he was like, "This is like that Charlie Brown
nice.
tree, the super sad one." So he ended up putting it into one of his a little planter that he has, and put like one red ball ornament on it. It's like totally just bent over, and it looks so sad, but it's definitely reminiscent of the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. So
okay, perfect.
I'm counting that as 4.
That's great.
I'll
I
point
didn't
it.
see it.
I'll point it out to you when we go back downstairs.
It was definitely nice walking in 10, 15 minutes ago, whenever that was, and I think a big part of the ambiance is set by the lasers.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
laser light show?
I was
in the
gonna
house.
describe more of what we had. We got a lights, and we have like a laser light show thing that just kind of goes on always.
Did you guys get the tree last week?
Yes, last Saturday.
Last Saturday, yeah. So I guess I knew that was going to be there, but yeah, we just bought a new artificial tree. We had the last tree that we had for, I don't know, like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Something that when we got it, it seemed like it was a lot of money, but then I was like, it's fine because it's going to be over all these years. And now it's like, okay, it's not. I think it was like $200, which 8 years ago, which was a lot more than it is now to me. Even though it doesn't make sense in the context of inflation. Right?
I mean, the live tree we have was like $330.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's just a one-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also that includes like delivery costs and stuff because we had it delivered here. So
Yeah. As much as the price of everything has gone up, tree technology, I think, has done the same thing as TV technology. You can get a pretty cool artificial tree for not that much. I think we spent definitely less than $200, maybe like 180, like 169 plus tax or whatever. And got the lights built in, and I really like it setting up the tree, and now it's a lot easier, but having lights twinkle, like fade in and out, and having that be the night light in the living room, so that when I wake up in the morning, it's obviously very dark in the house, but the glow of the tree is something that's very in season for me, that I very much like. Especially this tree, you can switch it back and forth between warm white and then just Christmas colors, and I really like the Christmas colors twinkling in and out.
the picture you sent me makes me think it's a very similar tree to our second biggest tree that we have in the house, which also does the same things, built-in lights, and you can toggle between like just the white or just the full colored or back and forth or whatever you want. It's pretty sweet.
We also got Ash and I have the tradition of getting a year-specific ornament every year. So the first time we did it was our anniversary, and we got a Christmas ornament from the Bahamas, which was where we honeymooned, and it's seashells just all over, and has the year on it. This year I had an ornament made, and it's flat circle, not really truly flat, obviously. But on one side,
Breaking physics over here.
yeah, on one side it's a picture of the two of us in the car taking our pregame shot at the Dallas Cowboys game that we went to, and I put the date and the score on there, and then the other side is a picture of the field from our seats. So it just kind of captures that moment in time of Ashley's first football game in person.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. We have an ornament holder that holds, that year's ornament that year. And then, we put all of our last year's ornaments on the tree. And then next year that'll be, on the tree.
That's very cool. I really like that tradition.
Yeah. We still have to put lights outside. Usually we do this with our Halloween lights and our Christmas lights. We put them around the door frame. And then we have pillars on the patio that you walk under. We usually wrap them up and over that. Might put lights in the live oaks that are in the front yard. So big, and I really like the canopy effect that they do in our yard, so it might be cool to put lights in those. But that'll also be a first for me. And then inside, we've done this the last couple of years, putting lights on the railing for the stairs, and then the railing on the loft area.
We have that.
And you guys have that, yeah. But again, I really like Christmas lights inside, even at like restaurants and that kind of thing. I don't know.
I love it. I mean, look at the house. Like, there's a, like, I guess between the tree, the living room, the formal living room, the stairs, the balcony, we have at least 25 lengths of lights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like 5 foot. I don't even think it's 10 foot. It would be like 15, 20 foot strands of lights. Like, a lot of lights. And honestly, this year, like, I was telling you before we started this, that we toned it down a little. And I mean, not by a lot, but I'm pretty sure last year we had a string of lights around the stockings to illuminate that wall whenever the main light was off. Had another strand of lights going up into the kitchen, but this year it's just tinsel and not the lights, just because, I don't know why. I still might put them up. And even with our tree, I think it might need some more ornaments.
Yeah.
Like, when we were originally decorating it, it got to a point where, like, yeah, we might have enough on there, and, like, we have a lot left over, but I look at it every once in a while, and I'm like, maybe it needs more. So I'm thinking about, like, maybe put, like, 1 or 2 on a day until Christmas, and then see what goes.
Word.
See how it goes.
That's another one of our traditions as a friend group. Like, we do the jack-o'-lanterns every year, and having the stockings out, where we've all got some of our friends have a couple that are up there too. That was another thing, is when I walked in, the lasers and just all the lights generally, but then a few more steps and the stocking. That's always nice and heartwarming to see. Definitely put me in the season.
It is a bummer that this is the first place we have lived. No. I guess out of all the houses we've lived in, this is, I think, maybe the second one that doesn't have a chimney and an actual fireplace, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, fireplaces are super Christmassy, and it's a great place for the stockings, and I really like fire, like having a live fire. Like, if we had a chimney right now, I would be making a fire.
Like, literally right now?
I mean,
a little warm, at 66 degrees.
I don't know, maybe. But even still, I mean, I'd maybe make a fire and turn on the AC.
I think we've done one fire in our fireplace the whole time, and it was just to do it. But right now we've got a TV in front of our fireplace.
That was always a problem with the fireplaces that we've had, because a TV would always be in front of it, but then, like, Christmas time would come and we'd move stuff out of the way just to free up that space, because fireplaces are pretty magical. Very important. Your Santa entrance and exit.
Yeah, gotta watch out for the big guy.
Yeah. Don't want him to have to work any harder than he already does.
Throughout the year, I try to get my Christmas shopping kind of lined up. If not literal gifts, then what am I going to get for family and all that. And I think we're like 80% at this point. I really like the proactive nature of my Christmas shopping.
I mean, it's pretty crucial, especially once you start getting a lot of people you're getting gifts for. Like, how many people do you think you get gifts for during Christmas?
A dozen.
It's quite a bit. I was actually just having a random conversation with the cashier at a 7-Eleven recently. Yeah. And she asked me about, like, was I excited for, like, the Christmas time or whatever? Yeah. And I was like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then she was like, yeah, I like everything about Christmas except having to give presents. And I was like, well, giving presents isn't that bad. And she's like, I've got like 18 nieces and nephews. Woo! And I was like, good luck. Yeah. And then it really made me happy that I don't have that many people that I have to be getting presents for. Mm. But it also made me sad that I don't have anybody to give presents to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay.
For Christmas last year, I mentioned before that I hosted my Christmas dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little party to go along with it too. I pleased myself with my little brother's gifts and sneaking, I forget how much it was, but some amount of a gift card into, I got everybody these journals with a pocket, and I snuck it into the pocket, and within that's a weird noise.
It happens.
Within a couple within a couple weeks, Justin was like, and I got one of those from Josh as well, a little bit longer. Never heard from James, so eventually I had to be like, hey bro, get that thing I sent you? And he figured it out eventually. I don't know if he got any help from his brothers.
That's silly.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to doing that Christmas dinner again. If I would like to host as well, the Thanksgiving dinner as well, but my Aunt Susan does a really great job of hosting. Something that kind of complicated this year is that Ashley and I have the pre-game rituals, and just the rituals around game day. We always wear the same thing. We take a shot before, have the same margaritas we had at the stadium, and that was going to be difficult to figure out.
Yeah.
But Ash actually had, so Thanksgiving was last Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
We recorded on a Wednesday before, and then Thanksgiving. And Ash has been having an issue with her right eye, where there's, I thought it was conjunctivitis, but apparently it's like allergy related or just something to do with her contacts. But her eye was just fucked up on Thanksgiving. So we both wore our garb, both did a shot a respectable amount of time before me getting on the road, and drank like a minuscule amount of the margaritas, and then I went down there. The Cowboys game wasn't until 3:30, and I got there well before that. Did all the family time. Aria, my 2+-year-old niece, is still getting so big.
Yeah.
I was picking on her to, I think, Josh, because across the room she was picking her nose like 2-year-olds do. It's like, look at her picking her nose with that giant finger. So that was fun. She was having a blast. She got into the Mexican bingo, which, for those who don't know, I pass as white easily enough, pretty gringo looking, but do have a Hispanic family on my mom's side, Viva San Antonio, and yeah, Mexican bingo, loteria. There's cards involved. Apparently there's quarters and pinto beans involved, because she was just into those quarters. And she does a really cute kind of, I don't know, OCD is the right term, but she really likes sorting and unsorting and handing things out and collecting them again. So that was going on the whole time. It was really adorable, whatever. And got to see my cousins, Amanda and Jacob. Jacob, I've always he towers over me now, but I always have thought of him as kind of Josh, just like younger brother, who's also towers over me now. But then Amanda, who's his little sister, we've always been close growing up. I went to one of Jacob's games once, and it was fun just hanging out with Amanda. She's a teacher now, which is not easy at all. And we talked about that for a long time. So my cousin Kat, who's graduated in community college now. All my little cousins who, growing up, we spent a lot of time as kids and less time the older and older we got.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I always have these pictures of all of us being so young in my head, and then going and actually seeing everybody. they're all big and teaching, and none of us are little anymore. Which is the nature of time and growing up, I guess.
It's a circle of life.
Cowboys came on. Cowboys did well. Left halftime, maybe a little bit before halftime. Got home in time to watch the rest of the Cowboys destroying the Giants of New York. And before I left, we actually also my dad's birthday was at the end of November, and we sang happy birthday to him, and he had a cake, and that was cool. I think that's about it. Oh yeah. But hosting Christmas is a really big deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I mentioned before, I had a blast doing it last year, and it's going to be one of those things, one of those institutions that I try to do a little bit better every year. Similar but different to fantasy football and
Yep.
a lot of the other things that I do in my life. It would be nice to host Thanksgiving too, but yeah, my Aunt Susan does such a wonderful job.
That's legit. I totally see you as a hoster, though.
Mm-hmm. That was Ashley's very much not in the hosting realm. I thought a lot about this in the week, I guess because I was on a plane, about how much of who I am today is definitely nurture versus nature. And that I could say a lot of profoundly negative things about me in the absence of trying to be better. And just kind of, I think we all come out as like megalomaniacs and have to be socialized, or you grow up to be a very selfish, self-centered person.
Yeah.
And I did a good job of coming out of that, I think. But then like other stuff of, I probably trend more toward, and this is going to sound bizarre to people, certain people, but trend more towards being an introvert and being grumpy and being some other things that like a closed off person would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to overcome a lot of that because of the things that I've wanted to do as far as service and leadership and helping people, and those things not going together. And certainly hosting, and even like family stuff generally, is stuff that I probably would have like shied away from earlier in life.
Yeah.
And just the older I've gotten, the more I've come to love and embrace it. And yeah, definitely hosting, and especially cooking for people. I don't know why that's especially profoundly meaningful to me, but I really, really enjoy cooking for Ashley first and foremost. Huh?
It's your love language.
It is my love language. Ash says that all the time, that cooking is my love language. But even like for you, I remember I made you fried chicken once, and you're like, "Oh, this is how my mom makes it." And I was like, "Yeah, I love you."
I don't think I said that. My mom never made good fried chicken.
Well, the way that I did it, you said that was how your mom did it. In a cast iron.
We never had a cast iron. You're fabricating things.
Do you remember me making you fried chicken?
Yeah, and it was fucking amazing.
Okay.
That's why I'm pretty confident that I didn't say something like that.
Because your mom didn't make it any good?
No, I mean, she never made fried chicken on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ever.
Mine's not on the bone.
Alright, we're both having some things crisscrossing in our brains.
Yeah, probably I'm not the one that's misremembering.
No, I think we're both kind of misremembering some things.
Alright, well, table that. I love cooking for people that I love. It's a big deal to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of right there with you, although I've kind of, I don't know, it comes and goes. There are definitely times when I'm really excited to cook for someone or bake someone a dessert, and then there's other times when it's just like, man, I wish someone would just cook for me for once.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, you have cooked for me before, so
You've cooked for all of us tons of times.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's something that comes and goes. But I totally get it. Like, just that feeling of, like, I'd never understood growing up, like, seeing my grandmother, my mom, or anyone in my family, like, cooking for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as they're done cooking, they go step away and let everyone else go get their food before they go get their food.
Right.
Like that, but I understand that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how it's like you just kind of sit back and you're like, yeah, eat my food, fuckers.
I like the nourishing of folks' bodies part too. Yeah.
I mean, I could see you getting real nerdy with it. Like, yeah, I'm sustaining you. You're the next day you're living because I fueled you.
It's a more literal execution of love, right? Is that we all try to fill each other's cups of humanity's not all bad. That people are worth loving and opening up to, and it's a literal version of that, is like literally refilling each other's cups. For me. The news in the last week has been, there's some obvious things that we could talk about as far as like Kanye and Twitter.
No, we're not going to talk about Kanye. That's not
right.
worth it.
Yeah, that's a whole not our vibe. But something we were talking about on the patio is Artemis.
Yep.
Do you want to say anything about that, or just what you told me about it?
No, I'm just still out there doing its thing. Yesterday, it just made its burn to get out of lunar orbit, and we'll be in the next day or two flying a close flyby slingshot maneuver right by the moon and heading back here, and I think it should be back in about, I don't know, maybe it's like 10 more days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a really, like, I was thinking about, this is a lot slower of like a moon type mission than the Apollo ones.
Is it?
Yeah.
You already looked at it?
Yeah, because the Apollo ones were only like 12 days, 13, 14 days. Or
Wow, okay. I would have thought it took weeks to get to the moon.
No, they get there in like 4 days, 5 days, and then they spend like 2 days there, and then they come back.
Wow.
But it also probably has to do with the trajectory and like just how they're doing it. Like, but the thing is too, I was reading it. I went looking into it because just thinking about like this whole mission is almost going to be a month by the time it splashes down, and that's way longer than the Apollos were.
Okay.
So I went looking it up because I mean this is supposed to be leading to us getting to and landing people on the moon in roughly like 2025.
Cool.
And I was looking up that mission, like what's already been said about that. I mean, it's still super early in the planning stages, but they're talking about it, and it's gonna be like a 30 plus day mission, and there's gonna be 4 astronauts that are just gonna be out there like for 30 days. 2 of them are gonna land on the moon. 2 of them are gonna stay in like the service module, orbiting the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, damn, That's one thing. That's the only thing about space travel that right now if I was like just given the chance to do it, I'm a little iffy about it. It's just how small of a confined space they're in for so long. Like, even the space station is fucking tiny.
Yeah.
But just to be in that close a proximity to like a few people, like having like zero privacy, like at least in the space station, like they have their little stand-up cubicle bedrooms where they can like slide a little door kind of thing closed, and like no one can see them, but I'm pretty sure you can't do that on these things because they're so much smaller. And it's just like that's got to be one of the hardest things about being an astronaut. It's just being vetted to be like, yeah, I can stay in a phone booth for a month and not just psychologically freak out.
Yeah, and that's after you are able to take for granted that outside the spacecraft is instant death.
Yeah.
Which is similar to being on a submarine, but different.
It's pretty similar. I guess you have a lot better chance of getting rescued if a sub a submarine has a problem than
Mm-hmm.
if a spacecraft has a problem, you are dead.
Have you seen the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock?
I don't think so.
It's so good, man. I think you would really like it, actually. It covers that use case of everything's fine, we're on the space station, everything's going well, and then not. And then how do you rescue yourself, basically? And I don't want to spoil it, anything beyond that.
Well, something I will spoil is just thinking about that. There's one scene in Apollo 13,
Yeah.
and that's why I'll spoil it, because if you haven't seen Apollo
That's
13,
on you,
right,
yeah.
is Jim Lovell's having a dream that like he and the other two astronauts are in space, like doing their thing, and then an alarm goes off, something else goes off, and then the hatch just blows, and one of the dudes gets sucked out, and like just the fear in his eyes, like when they like are looking at him, like he knows in that instant, like he's dead, the other guys are dead, there is no saving that. And then he wakes up and everything's okay, and he goes talks to his kid or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's scary. Like, just knowing that there's a point when, like, you definitely, like, if something goes wrong and you're, like, you see it, like, you know you're dead. And you're just waiting.
Yeah.
Which is not great, but I'd still rather go to space than go in a submarine.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Fuck the water.
Okay, because of that. That's what I would ask is why. It's like, what's the difference to you?
I mean, for me, it's... And I know I've told you this before, but I have a very convoluted and stupid thinking of what is an honorable way to die.
Okay.
If I get it into space and I die there, that's honorable. Like, you went to fucking space.
That's a slice of it for me, too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, like, if the water kills you, like, that's on you. You shouldn't have been fucking with the water. Which, I don't know why, there's no logical reason for me to think that, or believe that, or go by that, but I do. I don't know, there's nothing cool to look at if you're in a submarine. There's no windows. Unless you're in, like, a submersible that's, like a scientific one and there's windows, but then
No, yeah.
but then there's scary ass shit you're looking at. Like, I hate stuff under the ocean. I hate it. Like that. It's been around the internet 1,000 times, but it's like that super, super deep, like something or another has a camera and there's this complete alien looking like squid or something that has like a weird head and then like arms that go out like complete horizontally to the ground and then a 90-degree bend and these like 60-foot long tentacles that are coming off of it. Ugh. Stuff's scary.
Presumably, we'll never get, like you and I will never get into space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is sad, because I would like to see, like, the Earth from space.
I mean, I don't think it's absolutely impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we, like, stayed in good shape and made a decent amount of money, I bet within 30, 40 years, you could probably spend 5-10 grand and get on, like, a little hop and pop like Blue Origin's doing right now, just to the very edge. You get 2 minutes in space and you're coming back down. Like, I could see it getting reasonably cheap like that within 30 years.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually going into like space, I don't think we have a shot.
Well, hopefully everything goes right and humanity becomes a interplanetary, if not interstellar species, and over the years, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people dead in different space accidents. And it would be kind of cool to be like one of the first 100 dead in space.
I mean, that's a noble cause right there. Like, that's like the old explorers, like, trying to get to the new Americas. If they died on their boat out at sea for months, I mean, they're trying.
Yeah.
But now if you go out and get on a boat and try to cross the ocean and you die, that's on you. That's dumb.
It'll end up being like that. It'll be like, right now if you get on the freeways, the signs are, help, drive safe. There's only been 3,000 people dead on Texas highways this year. Let's work together to keep below 4,000. It'll be like that in space, going from Earth to Mars. It's like, hey, don't fall asleep, or whatever it is.
Or don't wake up if you're in some kind of hibernation.
Sure. My kind of current event thing that's going on, I think right now, literally, it started, looking at the timer, 14 minutes ago. They're unveiling the B-21 Raider in California, which all day I've been like, when am I going to get this notification? When is YouTube going to be like, live B-21 Raider? And it's because they're not doing it in DC, they're doing it somewhere in California. Which, for those that don't know, the B-21 is, like, in our lifetimes, we've seen the end of the Cold War when we were kids.
Yep.
And if we were going to nuke somebody, it was going to be either with a giant B-52 bomber or the smaller, I think cooler, what is it, the B-1, the Lancer?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've gotten progressively neater and neater aircraft, but, like, it's as much of a leap as it is to go from, hey, we're just now starting flying, to we're flying nuclear, like flying wings technology. It's like that much innovation, just like every 5 years or something like that. And this new B-21 is supposed to be the successor of the B-2, which is all, like, we've all seen pictures of it, but you're not supposed to know like a lot of details about it, so we don't. And this new one, like, they keep using like a cooler looking version of the B-2 in the pictures and stuff, but I don't even know if that's an accurate representation
I
of
think
what the
it
B-21
is.
looks like.
I think it's going to be fairly similar.
Okay.
One thing I read about that whole situation today that was really interesting is I was just reading a thread of comments of people talking about it being today. And one person asked a really good question and was like, why are we unveiling this today? Like, most of the time, it seems like anytime we let people know about some kind of new weapon or airplane or anything in the military, it's already been in the sky for years.
Right.
And we just don't know about it. But apparently, there's been some kind of like international treaty signed where if it's an aircraft like primarily designed to be a like tactical nuclear delivery system,
Okay.
that it has to be disclosed to the world.
Nice.
And like even Russia, like Russians are able to like, I'm not any Russian, like the Russian government or whatever are allowed to come over to our base and like kind of inspect shit. And that's legal. Just like we could do to them if they created whatever.
Yeah.
So they couldn't, they're not allowed to keep it secret because it is designed. And then someone else brought up, well, technically you can put this, I forgot what, it was a B161 or some kind of armament on like an F-18 or even like an F-15 or F-16 that is a nuclear weapon that you can then deliver from that. But because those aren't designed to be like tactical nuclear delivery systems, that those kind of things don't have to be disclosed right when you have it. But because of this, it's designed to deliver nukes, everyone has to know. So it's like, there's no reason to keep it quiet because everyone in the world will know about it anyway. So why not just get some good pub, good press, and show the world just on their own terms?
Yeah.
Which was really interesting to me.
It's not surprising. And I like that explanation. I'm big on anti-proliferation. We've talked about this before. We don't have time to talk about it now because I still want to talk about college football. But nuclear weapons and the nuclear arsenal being a sort of god of death that we invented. Definitely I want to talk about that eventually. But for me, I think it makes sense to unveil it because ostensibly at this time we spent untold billions on it. And that can't just be no, it's promise it's a plane. Because until you actually see it, it's like, this seems like an incredible boondoggle. You guys better not be laundering this or doing like secret shit with it. Like a la Iran-Contra. Like that kind of stuff. Like, if you're going to tie dollars to results, then yeah, inevitably you have to unveil it.
I would never really think that would be the case with the U.S. though, because we're pretty proud of our death machines. Like,
What wouldn't be the case?
Like, just faking that we spend billions of dollars on this new... Like, we spend billions of dollars on toilet paper. Like, we'll spend the money for the right machines, and I think we're always trying to do that as a country. It's like have the best of the best technology and weaponry and delivery systems and aircraft and everything. Like that's just what we do. Like I don't see someone trying to like extort or not extort, but just take billions of dollars and pretend like we're building a new airplane. Like no, we're that would never even cross my mind for someone to do that.
But for the purposes of like auditability and again just kind of showing results $2, I think inevitably you can, under the auspices of well, we have to just need to know, this is like secret. We can't tell you everything about this. We can tell you what, but not how, and we can tell you why, but not how. That kind of stuff. That can only go on so long. I mean, as long as we're gonna say like, this is a democracy. We're all taxpayers. We deserve to know what we're spending our taxpayer dollars on. Want to talk about college football?
Yeah, let's knock it out.
So we had our last regular season football games last week. Your game looked a little bit closer than ours, but seemed to be pretty much in hand the entire time.
Fucking curb stomped them. Fucking curb stomped them.
The Ohio State game, you're pulling at that B21. You were in such a stress that every time something good would happen, anytime anything, I would send you a text. The response that I got from you were progressively more bizarre oh mans until finally the score was final and you just said something like we curb stomped them.
I mean that was the first quarter was one of the worst quarters of football I've ever seen in my life. It was just so hard to watch. The second quarter, I was definitely thinking like they're giving me too much hope right now. Like they're staying in this, and it's just we're gonna get destroyed. We've been getting outplayed. It's just horrible. Third quarter, I fucking start pulling away, start making it happen. Fourth quarter, fucking start just manhandling them and just running away with it, all without our number one star on the team, the Heisman candidate, who unfortunately is now out for the season. They finally decided he needed surgery. It was always... Everyone thought that he was going to possibly play in the game tomorrow, but most definitely in the playoffs.
Now, he did get like a snap at the beginning of it.
Yeah, they gave him... they let him try.
Blake Corum.
Yes.
I haven't said his name yet.
Blake Corum. They let him try, but it was... like, you saw right away that he was not... right, and there's just no reason to play him and get him even more injured if he's not going to be who he normally is.
And this late in the season, is he a junior? Is he going to do the draft? Is he going to do the draft?
He could come back for one more year, but all signs point to him going into the draft. It looks like he's going to be a second-day draft pick, so like second round, maybe third. But, I mean, everyone's saying he's going to get drafted. It's just not super high, but...
But unfortunately, this late in the season, we probably won't see him until this time next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer, but I mean, still, Michigan's going to take on Purdue tomorrow in the Big Ten Championship. TCU's got Kansas State in the Big 12. Tonight is Pac-12. I didn't even know that was tonight.
No, I mean, either. I might watch that. Presumably you're a lot less worried about Purdue than I am about facing Kansas State again.
I wouldn't say a lot. I'd definitely say some, but Purdue has a pretty good record. Like, they're, one of their nicknames is the Spoiler Makers.
Nice. Because
I think in the last few years, they've beaten two number 2 teams, like, late in the season when they were unranked. So everybody's talking about, the Spoiler Makers are going to get Michigan in the Big Ten Championship, and I don't know. I mean, the next game's the only game. I'm not thinking ahead. So right now, I'm just focusing on let's just win tomorrow, and then I'll think about the playoffs.
Yeah.
But understandably, I could see you being a little bit more worried about TCU, but
yeah, I was a lot more worried about, or I was very worried about Iowa State last week. I mentioned it before. They beat us maybe 48-10, 48-something last year. And apparently a big part of that was Breece Hall, who, for those that aren't into the NFL, is amazing rookie campaign until he injured himself this year. They didn't, so they weren't that good. TCU, they called it a statement game, letting the college playoff folks know that we're the real deal. When all of our folks are healthy, we're there to destroy. This week we replay Kansas State, who the last time we played them in week 6 or 7, they were beating us 28-10 at one point. They ended up not scoring another point for the rest of the half of that game. But I don't know how much you've listened to the talking heads this week. It sounds like everybody agrees that if either of our teams loses, that a team that's not playing in their championship game shouldn't come above us. So definitely, I think we both want to win our games. I feel better now than I did last week that even if we lose, that Michigan and TCU will be in the playoffs.
Yeah, everything I've been hearing is the only team right now that really could drop out if they lose their championship game is USC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're not because they're not undefeated. Yeah.
So, but now, and also something I've been hearing about a lot is just how the college football playoff committee, as much as they're not supposed to technically think about this, even if USC were to lose and Ohio gets in, they don't want Ohio and Michigan to face each other in the first round.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't want them. So, I guess if Ohio comes in at 4, Georgia stays 1, then it's Mich TCU in the first round.
Have you thought about how you'd feel or how you'd approach that?
There's not much thinking. If it got to Michigan versus TCU, I love you, buddy, but I want my team to win.
Yeah. And
I will root for them. But if TCU is probably the one team that if we lost to them, I'd get over the loss quicker.
Cool.
Because at least I have you, and I know that would mean a lot for you to get your team to the championship. But at the same time, I'd still be pretty devastated.
It's the same. That's how I've thought of it. Kind of like how parents must think of if their two kids are competing against each other on different teams. Mm-hmm. But also that as devastated as I would immediately be happy that Michigan was playing in the final.
Mm-hmm. Let's focus on tomorrow. We're not thinking that far ahead. We're just focusing on tomorrow. You get your dub, I'll get mine, and we don't have to even worry about dropping out or whatever. Just we'll be in.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we can. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna do our Friday night hangout. Maybe watch some episodes of The Expanse. Maybe watch a Christmas movie. We'll see.
Christmas movie?
Christmas movies. It's definitely Christmas movie season, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so we're going to go do that. We're going to go have some fun. I hope everybody out there is going to go have some fun as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the notification bell. And we'll catch y'all next week.
Take care, everybody.